So it turns out that the same Russian attorney that Donald Trump Jr. met with to get damaging information from the Russian government to help his father beat Hillary Clinton has close connections to a case that Jeff Sessions and his Department of Justice just settled with a real estate company, and Democrats want to know why. In a letter sent by 17 Democratic members of the House Judiciary Committee, Jeff Sessions was asked to explain why his Department of Justice settled a $230 million money laundering case for a mere $6 million. The case was slated to begin against Prevezon, a real estate company owned by Denis Katsev, who is the son of Pyotr Katsev, whose attorney is, wait for it, Natalia Veselnitskaya, the same Russian attorney who met with Donald Trump Jr. based on the promise of providing damning information on Hillary Clinton. Now, when Donald Trump Jr. released his infamous emails on Monday, he stated, quote, Veselnitskaya had no information to provide and wanted to talk about adoption policy and the Magnitsky Act. So Veselnitskaya met with Don Jr. promising damaging information on Hillary Clinton, but when they met, he admittedly discussed the Magnitsky Act. What is that? The Magnitsky Act was passed in 2012 by Congress as a means of punishing those people suspected of being involved in or complicit with the death of Russian tax attorney Sergei Magnitsky. In 2008, Magnitsky uncovered the same $230 million tax fraud scheme that Jeff Sessions conveniently just settled. The scheme implicated Kremlin officials and associates of Vladimir Putin. The Magnitsky Act authorizes the President of the United States to deny visas to Russians believed to have played a role in the death of Magnitsky. In addition, their assets can also be frozen. This act has played a surprisingly significant role in Russian-U.S. relations for many years. At the time of the settlement, there were 44 Russian officials on the Magnitsky Act sanctions list. And this is precisely what Donald Trump Jr. confessed that Natalia Veselnitskaya wanted. In fact, she has been an active lobbyist against the act for several years. And now, just 2 days before the trial was set to begin, the $230 million lawsuit has conveniently been settled by the Sessions Department of Justice for only $6 million. In addition to this, the settlement required no admission of wrongdoing. BusinessInsider.com spoke with the attorneys of Prevezon, and they described that the settlement was, quote, too good to be true. They went on to say, quote, Prevezon described the settlement as proof that the company had done nothing wrong. It said it considered the offer from prosecutors too good to refuse. It was a surprise. We were getting ready for opening statements and fully expected to try the case. In fact, we were looking forward to it. We reluctantly agreed to accept the government's offer when it became clear that the fine proposed was no more than we would have spent fully litigating the case, and that no admission of guilt, forfeiture, or continued seizure of any assets were required. Dillard added. Essentially, the offer was too good to refuse. And so now, Democratic members of the House Judiciary Committee want to know exactly what role, if any, Veselnitskaya played in this settlement. In the letter to Jeff Sessions, the 17 Democratic officials asked 5 pointed questions. Number one, was Natalia Veselnitskaya involved at any point in the settlement negotiations of U.S. versus Prevezon Holdings? Question 2, why was the case settled for $6 million just 2 days before the trial was scheduled to begin? Question 3, was there any contact between President Trump, White House personnel, the Trump family, or the Trump campaign with the Department of Justice regarding the Prevezon case? Question 4, did you, Jeff Sessions, discuss the Prevezon case with anyone associated with the transition team at any point during the time you were under consideration for Attorney General? And question 5, did you, Jeff Sessions, discuss the Prevezon case with Ambassador Kislyak or any other Russian official at any time? It would seem as though Jeff Sessions has a lot of explaining to do. Perhaps this time he will get it right and not have to double back to correct false testimony under oath that, had it been you or me, would have landed us with charges of perjury. I'm Benjamin Dixon, and this is Content News, news where we can tell the truth and not care who doesn't like it.